everyone, Jay here from Actually ADHD. I am back and ready to chat about working memory, which is one of those pesky executive functions that's affected by ADHD. So get yourself something to drink, because hydration is important, and settle in for some nattering on about how memory works and what working memory is and why it's a thing that matters with ADHD, and maybe look at a few ways to manage it. Memory is recalling information. We store information in our brains, and then when we need that information, we pull it out and use it. We remember it. Short-term memory is what happens when we first learn something new. We keep the information ready to use, close to the surface. If it turns out we might need it for a while, it goes into our long-term memory. ADHD memory is kind of chaotic. Sometimes we don't even realize what we know until someone brings it up, and we end up waxing poetically for an hour or two. Years and years ago, I read Douglas Adams's book, The Long Dark Tea Time of the Soul, and I just loved the short description of one character's mind while she's unconscious. I'm going to read it for you here. Insofar as she recognized at all that she was dreaming, she realized that she must be exploring her subconscious mind. She had heard it said that humans are supposed to only to use about 1/10 of their brains, and that no one was really clear what the other 9/10 were for, but she had certainly never heard it suggested that they were used for storing penguins. I kind of envision my memories as being kept in filing cabinets, but just how they're filed is not logical because they're maintained by penguins. So you might find something about guinea pigs under G for guinea pig, but you might also find it under B for best animal, or P for pet, or even F for furry, or under A for ADHD because their memories are that hilariously short. Now that we've established that memories are in chaotic filing cabinets maintained by penguins, let's talk about working memory. Working memory is how we remember information we need in the moment in order to use it for something specific. This is stuff like directions to a location, your list of what you want to get done in the next 15 minutes, or what just happened in the last paragraph of the book you're trying to read. I mean, okay, it can totally be a function of distractibility or that variable attention span. The penguin was holding the info we need, but then something wandered across our vision and that pulled a different penguin forward, and the first one wandered off and filed the info somewhere. Where? Nobody knows. That's the beauty of penguins. So, how do we pull those penguins into line so we can actually function? That's the tricky bit. Medication can help, of course, because dopamine keeps them in one place for longer. But if meds aren't an option, or you're having a bad brain day, then what do? First things first, write it down. I know it's a pain, and it's most commonly repeated advice we hear, but it is that because it does work. I carry a notebook with me because I can use it to write down whatever I need to remember. I mean, if your penguins are unruly, use an external filing system. Silliness aside, the physical act of writing things down does actually make it easier to remember them. Just typing them into your phone won't have the same effect. Tying the information to physical motion locks it into a more permanent part of your memory system. Second, memory tricks. There are a lot of different ways people enhance their memories. In general, these techniques boil down to visualization and association. So you could use a deck of cards and tie information to a different card in the deck. Or you could envision walking through your house and tie information to each room you pass through. These tricks have never worked well for me, so I can't give you any tips for using them, but there are people out there who are great at them and teach them. I will link a couple in the description below. Third, just repeat it over and over. Mutter it to yourself constantly. Last time I did this, I forgot to get mayonnaise, so it's not as good as writing stuff down. But hearing information rather than just reading it can help cement it in your memory, just like writing it down can. Doing both things may help even more. Today's question: do you struggle with working memory? And how do you deal with it? What questions or topics would you like me to cover in a future video? Drop it in the comments. That's it for today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and keep an eye out for my next upload. Peace and blessings.